No, that's good.
G'day. Have a look at this for a sec.
Hey everybody, due to the overwhelming response to our Twisted Visions Summer Challenge of 2024, we're at it again, introducing the all-new Brisbane Twisted Visions Autumn 2024 Creators Challenge. Each YouTuber can submit up to 3 topics. All the topics go into a hat. We draw one topic from the hat. We all get to make a 10-minute video on that topic, and we have 10 days to do it. The final videos will be published on the 20th of April at 5:30 p.m. The last time it was a blast. We all had our own interpretations. So this time, some of the participating YouTubers will be Cam from Cam Carter's Adventures, Adam from the Brisbane Channel, Rebecca from Love, Life and Travel, Rob from Walkabout with Rob, Steve from Steve Mack, Gizmo from Gizmo Bush Escapes, and myself, T-Rox. Let the challenge begin.
So the topic is, if you could change something about Brisbane, what would it be? I know personally what I would change is something that really can't be changed. And that's, I'd take a lot of it and go back to the future. Now, a lot of things have changed about Brisbane. When I was born, the population was estimated to be 678,000 people. In 2024, the current population is 2,536,000 people. So a little bit of a difference there. Where did I grow up and how has it changed? Well, I grew up, was born and bred here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I'm lucky where I live now on the western suburbs because there is a lot of acreage still, which I really enjoy the quieter life here than in the Brisbane city, which is about 20 minutes away from where I live. City especially, I've noticed changes since I was a little boy. It's got a lot bigger. It's a very large city, and I don't like the way it's been heading. It's convenient, I guess, for people that live near the city centre. There's a lot of roads and tunnels that never used to be there, which is why, even though born in Brisbane, I still get lost sometimes when I have to go that way. Progress is not my favourite thing. I would prefer it to be more of a large country town, as some people referred to it as years ago. Anyway, not much we can do about that. Now, as good as a lot of the roads are now in Brisbane, some of them anyway, I was born mid-60s when the last of the trams were still running in Brisbane. As a matter of fact, my sister took me on the very last, or one of the very last trams on the day, the final day the trams were running. I don't remember any of it, but anyway.
Brisbane, like Melbourne, still has its trams, but how long will they last? Opinion in the Queensland capital seems to be that the trams will be replaced by buses as they have been in other Australian capitals.
As far as multiculturalism is concerned, which basically Brisbane almost always was, after a while, a multicultural city, the population's expanded crazily since the 60s. Attitudes of residents of Brisbane, generally speaking, I find are pretty broad-minded. Some less so, of course, but a big change from where they were a long time ago.
Think of the White Australia policy?
Well, I think it's good, and they should really have it and keep out the coloured races.
You think even
yes,
now...
I think it's a little bit late for that. I think we should take Asians in. I don't think we can expect to keep Australia white forever. Well, I shouldn't think, because the coloured races, when they get into a white country, then they want to intermarry, and I don't think it's fair on the children. No, I don't think at all that they should allow coloured races into Australia.
Well, I suppose everybody should have the same rights in this world.
In what respect? Well, do you think it should be discontinued at this stage, or...?
No, I don't. I think it should be continued.
Even more forcefully, perhaps?
Even more forcefully.
Why is that?
We should keep our country, let's say, as white as possible, but we have our own natives that we should look after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you say white in a purely coloured sense, or some economic necessity?
Well, no, I think that we should have... Migration is a very good thing. But I think we should stick more to British migrants.
The policy in itself is a crude attempt to limit the influx of foreign people into the country. That in itself is good. But on the other hand, it is an open manifestation of racial discrimination. And that in itself, of course, is inhuman.
Do I think that the policy is wise? No, I don't.
You see no merit in the White Australia policy at all?
No, I do not. As a matter of fact, I think that all this is banking up against Australia, against the white race, and the result will probably be an explosion of some description. Perhaps making it necessary that certain tests would have to be undergone before any people of any race would be allowed into the country.
Why?
Well, we don't want them.
You consider you're superior to the coloured people?
No, I don't know about that, but I do know this.
Do you think it could be dangerous?
It could be.
On a whole, yes, thankfully attitudes have mostly changed since the 60s. Most people in Brisbane are still pretty friendly, I find. But the thing I'd like to change now is to limit the amount of building that's going on. With the Brisbane Olympics coming in 2032, major changes everywhere have been made, especially around the CBD, and all for what amounts to 10 days of the Olympics. This includes major disruptions to many, many areas, especially in the CBD region. And I'm just not sure that Brisbane can support all the influx of people, and whether it's worth it. The amount of money the government has spent is just mind-blowing, and I was very concerned. My old school, East Brisbane State School, was earmarked to be basically demolished and moved, all bar a few remnants. So fast forward until just recently, they've now done a backflip because of the cost. So thankfully, my school should stay in place. I mean, I haven't been there for many, many years, but it's just another thing that they would change that would ruin the aesthetics of Brisbane, in my humble opinion. Now, a lot of things have changed about Brisbane. So during that thing that happened about 4 years ago that we can't mention because YouTube will automatically put up something about World Health Organization, but I think you know what I mean. A huge amount of people from Victoria especially moved up to Brisbane. I can't say as I blame them. Generally speaking, it's pretty nice here. So with that population increase comes the increased need for housing. So because of the housing rate increases that have exponentially risen and are still rising, with no end in sight by the looks of it, that's created a huge problem where there's not enough housing and too many people to try and house. And for people in the rental market that simply can't afford the rents these days, so they have nowhere to live, without any signs of improvement in the near future. I know it isn't just a problem in Brisbane, but it's definitely a problem in Brisbane. My personal opinion, if it could be done, is to basically limit this huge amount of people coming into Brisbane. I mean for permanent residency, because we simply can't cope. The infrastructure can't cope. The whole system can't cope. I think we're heading for a major, major crash down the track. And to limit the amount of building going on, even in the suburbs, which is causing more and more crowding of people, and driving up the lack of accommodation available to people. As more and more goes on, all of the suburbs are starting to get so crowded. But we won't get into politics and that sort of thing. However, a concern is the crime rate is increasing in Brisbane. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. So all these changes and the changes in infrastructure takes Brisbane a little further away from being that country town. Anyway, that's progress apparently. It's a vicious circle. And I have to wonder, is that a deliberate move or just stupidity on behalf of the government? I'm leaning towards the first aspect myself. So I wish personally, in some aspects at least, we could reverse time, but apparently it's called progress. And that would definitely be something I would change about Brisbane myself. So comment down below what you would change if you could about Brisbane. Also check out the other Twisted Visions Challenge participants and see what their interpretation of this topic is. So the topic is, if you could change... So the topic is, if you could change something... 3. So the topic is, also check out the other entrance to the Twisted Vision. Also check out the other entrance to the Twisted Vision. Also check out the other challenge.
No robot machine has ever been accused of being absent-minded or careless at its work.
Your domestic problems are completely solved.